Hello.
Hi, happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
I've been singing to all my classes this morning. I've been like, Happy Monday. It's
Oh,
good. Yeah. Thought I'd share it with everyone.
okay. Well, I haven't been singing to my people, but still wishing them a happy Monday. If you're watching, hope you had a great start to the week. We're back for another week in review. And
Yes.
last week was week 5 of our training cycle, which is really hard to believe.
That's
I feel
crazy.
like we just started, but nope, week 5.
I know. I know. I keep telling everybody, I was like, look, we've got 2 more weeks of actual working out, and then it's baseline week. And
Yeah,
it's going to be September, which is even crazier. The year's going by so fast, I feel like.
I know. Yeah, we'll have this training week. We've got week 7, we'll deload, and then we hit retest week. So that just shows you that for these training cycles, 8 weeks sounds like a long time, but it's really not. You have to be super intentional with how you approach each week. And if you miss a week, that's fine, but we have to just work really hard to get right back to it, which is easier said than done. And then before you know it, it's week 6, which is what we're doing right now. And we had another great weekend of training. I know I wasn't able to be at our beach brawl training this Saturday morning, but that has been, I think, the highlight of our week the past couple months, getting ready for beach brawl at the end of September. So how did that go?
Oh, man. Um, it was hard. And it wasn't like, Ant made the comment. He's like, get ready. He's like, because this is the last time that we're going to be doing longer workouts because, of
Mhm.
course, we're 5 weeks out from competition. So we're going to get ready, of course, to get in that mode of short, quick workouts, high, heavy endurance, 10, 12-minute time caps. But I mean, I felt like that's how it was on Saturday. Right here, like, when we're doing all the hang cleans, my forearms are still so sore today. But it was so awesome, like watching people, who just a few weeks ago had never really snatched before, just snatching the crap out of that barbell. So it was hot too, man. It was a great workout. I mean, we missed you though,
Yeah,
but you
sad to
were
miss it.
busy. You were busy.
Yeah,
You were cheering on our other athletes at DECA over the
I
weekend.
was. We had 6 Oxford athletes that were up in my neck of the woods, like Woodstock, up north of the city, competing in another Deca Strong at a gym that actually comes to Oxford for all of our Decas. So now we got a chance to send some athletes up to them to get another time just because they had so much fun when they did Deca Strong with us last time. So it was super fun to watch them. It was great to see them take on the challenge, also in a new setting, a little bit different equipment, and just see them absolutely crush it. I think all 2 of the 3 teams had done DECA before and they PR'd, and then we had one team
Nice.
that was doing it for the first time, but they all did amazing. It was great.
Dang. So you're saying so Jamie and Grace went together, right?
Jamie and Grace went together and they're trying to qualify for Worlds as a DECA strong doubles team.
Dang.
And they shaved, I think, 30 seconds off their time. They did it in 11 minutes and 10 seconds.
What? I was just about to ask you what their time was.
They're
That's
flying,
crazy.
flying,
Oh
but
God.
they did
Oh
really
God.
great. But I think that's so cool to see just so many different types of athletes, different groups of people training and doing these like extra challenges, but not really having to change how they work out each week. So
Right.
our athletes that just did DECA Strong, they just come to class,
Yeah.
4 to 5 times a week. I think they met up one time after class with Coach Jamie just to talk about some strategy, which is super cute. But they really don't have to do extra training. And the same thing with the beach brawl sessions that we do on Saturdays. It's so cool to see everyone come together during those morning sessions. We have almost like 25,
30, almost 30,
30
something. Yeah.
athletes going to beach brawl. And these are just the people you work out next to in class during the week. And, the fitness, the strength, the endurance is already there because they do OxFit workouts. When we come together on Saturday mornings, we're just fine-tuning some skills, getting used to a different style of workout, but the training's already been done. So that's what's really cool to see, is that when we get together on Saturdays, it's just kind of just the cherry on top of like all the hard work we're already putting in during the week. So it's cool to be able to see people do these competitions, do DECA, and not have to change their weekly routine, which is great for busy parents, people with busy jobs. You don't have time to train for an extra 2 hours every single day, which nobody has to do that. So it's super cool.
Well, I mean, that's props to you, though, as head coach, because you program all of these workouts. So, like, it's incredible that these people who are just coming to class, because I know we get to work out in the afternoons together as a squad, and we're already and have been doing all these movements. You know, we compete in these competitions every year. But it's like, it really is so crazy to see just people who are coming to class come on Saturday, and they're already so fit, so strong, and ripped, of course. And we're only having to, it's something to be said about how you program our workouts, because they're only having to learn maybe 1 or 2 movements. Mm-hmm. That's it. Out of everything that's going to be in the workouts, because we already know what the workouts are, that we don't have to, like you said, spend that extra time training. And I mean, and if I could say anything too, is like thinking back to last year at Beach Brawl, we had one team of athletes who 3 of them hadn't even been in the gym for a year. They had been in the gym 6 to 8 months, and they were in the top 20 on the teams. And it's just like, we were stroking people out there just because we're fit and strong. We're not just strong, and we're not, just skilled in the gymnastics. We're like all across the board. Like, it's amazing.
Yeah. No, this has been a great season. I love our fall training cycle just because we always have these fun competitions coming up at the end. So there's still time to sign up for stuff if you're interested. There is a High Rocks coming back to Atlanta at the end of October. We're going to get geared up to do that here in the next couple weeks. So if that's something that interests you, email me, email Caitlin, email Ant. We'll get you to the right place to get you ready for that. But DECA's on the horizon, High Rocks is on the horizon, and then if the CrossFit competitions, triathlons look super fun, which they will, you'll get FOMO, then next year, those are always coming back. So just keep that on your radar. But yeah, great week last week. This week's episode, not going to be too much more of a review. Caitlin and I have a fun little Q&A lined up for all of our OxFit athletes and listeners. We are going to be doing a this or that rapid fire, because I know you guys are just dying for our opinions. You want to know what we think about things, because we never, ever get on the internet and tell you how we feel about stuff. So today, we're going to tell you how we feel about some stuff. So, Caitlin, I think you have some questions for me. I know I have some questions for you.
Yep.
Like I said, it's this or that. I'm going to ask you, I need rapid fire. Give me your answer. Okay. And then maybe we'll dive into it a little bit, but I just want your first instinct.
Okay.
What your opinion is.
All right. Let's go.
All right. Here we go. We're starting off with Caitlin.
Okay.
Is it better to have a protein shake or a whole food source of protein in general?
Oh, whole food source.
Protein.
I got a Whole Foods. A whole food source. Absolutely. Without a doubt.
Okay. What does that look like for people that don't know what that means when you say a whole food source of protein?
Absolutely. So we're talking about, even if I just worked out, I'm going to eat within the hour after I work out. I mean, a protein shake, if you have to, hold you over, sure, but it's not going to give you the same fat, carbs, protein, certain vitamins, nutrients, minerals that you can't get that in a protein shake, and it's not processed. This is real whole foods. This is meat. I mean, nothing. It's not coming from a lab technically, but so it's just steak itself contains every vitamin and nutrient you need except for 3, and you ain't getting that anywhere else. Especially nothing man-made.
Yeah. No, time and place for protein shakes to help you meet your goals. But when it comes to getting a super well-rounded source of protein that packs in the carbs, the fats, the vitamins, the minerals, Caitlin's right. We're going whole food all
Let's
day,
go whole
baby.
food. Come on.
Catch Caitlin eating a steak after her workout all the time.
I love
All
a
right.
steak.
What you got for me?
All right. Okay. Strength training or cardio?
I'm going to go strength training. Just like our protein shakes, there's a time and place for both, but I think the most bang for your buck is going to be in resistance training, lifting those weights, which is still going to get your heart rate up. It's going to give you a great workout, but it's going to be more effective in building that muscle and burning those calories, which is going to give us all that quote unquote toned appearance we want. Less fat, more muscle.
And plus beneficial for us women, especially.
Yeah.
Lifting for longevity, baby.
Hell yeah. All right. What do we think about intermittent fasting? So only eating in a very specific window of time, or having a more traditional 3 to 4 meals spread out throughout the day?
100% 3 to 4 meals throughout the day. I think that if you are definitely someone who is just getting started in fitness and you're like, maybe I should fast, maybe I shouldn't eat, but a lot of times we don't see the results that we want to see in the gym because we're not actually fueling our bodies properly. So I would say, of course, 3 to 4 small meals, a couple snacks throughout the day helps to keep that metabolism and that body burning. I think intermittent fasting is definitely for people who are more experienced. And when it comes to working, like doing any type of like diet or anything that they're trying to do for themselves. So, and plus I get hungry, bro. I need 3 to 4 meals a day for sure.
Because we do use intermittent fasting as a tool, especially when we work with our men who are on weight loss journeys. But for the most part, when we start working with people, and I know you agree, the issue is that they're not eating 3 meals a day. They're skipping breakfast. They're having a huge lunch, a huge dinner, and that's pretty much it. So to get you started, you want to create a routine for your body. So getting in a habit of eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and probably a snack during the day is going to be a great starting place. And then we can introduce some other habits or tactics for weight loss or building muscle or whatever we're trying to do.
Agreed. Couldn't agree more. Love that. Let's go. All right. Okay. So now, rest day or active recovery?
So my instinct, I'm just going to say active recovery.
I know you do.
We all need a rest day. We all need rest days, but I feel like none of us move as much as we should in the first place. So just going for a long walk or a leisurely swim or a bike ride, or maybe getting on YouTube and doing a yoga video in the living room, just something to move your body on a day that you're not doing a more intense workout is going to be the way I go, rather than just sitting still all day long.
I can't sit still. I mean, maybe it's like maybe because we're always doing something, but like I'm trying to be outside on a hike, hanging out.
Yeah.
We're even when we hang out, we're super active.
I think that's a little bit of mental illness that we have.
I think so.
Not about we could be drinking and doing drugs, but instead we're just constantly exercising.
Yeah. Well, I'd rather be doing that anyway. So.
All right. What you got for me when it comes to pre-workout or a coffee before we're working out?
Well,
because you have so much experience with both.
Well, I was to say, my first instinct is don't give Caitlin any caffeine of any kind because she goes crazy. But my first instinct is definitely going to be pre-workout, just because there are different, of course, forms of pre-workout. I would say there's not just the one, like there's the powder, of course, you drink it. But if you go in a more natural route, one of my favorite ways for a pre-workout would be maybe eating some like honey or eating some Sour Patch Kids. It doesn't necessarily have to be caffeinated, just to get those blood vessels pumping, dilated, get it going. And I mean, a little bit of sour candy does it for me.
Yeah.
So
okay.
That's my type of pre-workout.
I didn't even think about that. My mind just immediately went to, am I doing like an energy drink or the dry scoop of pre-workout, or am I having a shot of espresso? But that's a good point. Pre-workout, should probably also include some quick carbs, whether that, like you said, is some honey on top of some fruit. If you want to go a different route, you could do some candy. But combining caffeine with something that's going to give your body some actual fuel is the best way to go, rather than just loading up on caffeine and hoping that it takes you through the end of the workout.
My favorite though is when people are like, "I'm so tingly." I'm like, "All right, let's work out. Let's go. We gotta get moving." All right. So what I have for you now, when speaking of recovery, from my last question, sauna or ice bath?
Hot topic. I'm gonna go sauna. I know people feel differently about both of those things, but really when it comes to promoting a smart, natural recovery, I think sauna is the best way to go. It's going to help you ride that inflammation process after we work out way better than an ice bath. Ice bath, you can think of it as a quick fix. If you finish a workout and for some reason you need to get another one in, maybe you're training for something, maybe you're got a big event the next day right after your workout, that ice bath is going to help reduce any soreness or pain you're going to have. But in the general routine of your training and resting and recovering, it's not really necessary. I think sauna is definitely the way to go.
Yeah, and plus, like, if you before with ice baths, it became a thing that the cryotherapy was still is pretty big. But what it does is all the blood rushes to your heart.
Yeah.
All your limbs, all of it to protect your heart, and then it goes back once you're warm. It really gives you that boost of energy. So it's like you said, if you have another competition, or you're working out, or you're trying to have something more along the lines of like quick fix, like you said, I would go ice bath without a doubt. But I'm a sauna gal, 100%.
And a lot of people use the cold plunge as a way to start their day. I think there is research that lends itself to saying that can help boost your metabolism, like people like to say, but really what I think people are after is just the cognitive benefits. It wakes you up, it makes you feel more alert, ready to take on the day. And you can do that without buying a cold plunge. Just do a contrast shower. Turn that shower super cold for a couple minutes before you get out, and it's going to have the same effect as a $500 cold plunge tub that you say you're going to use every day and you don't.
Well, that's my thing, is if you can't stand in the shower in the cold for 5 minutes, don't spend the money on a cold plunge.
Facts.
So, oh well.
All right. Let's think. What am I going to ask Caitlin next? All right. This might be a tough one.
Okay.
Rice or sweet potatoes?
Damn.
As a carb source.
Dang, that is tough. Okay, you know what? I am right off the cuff. I'm going sweet potato.
Okay.
And I mean, not just because sweet potato, I can make it into anything I want to, so it's a little more versatile. I can have it sliced, diced, fried, whatever. But rice is just empty. Like, I mean, it's not bad for a carb, of course, especially if you're looking just to, hit a certain amount. I like to call it not necessarily a dirty carb, but it's just in the sense of like rice doesn't really contain much nutritional value. Right? If I eat sweet potato, there's way more minerals, nutrients, and vitamins in sweet potato than there are in rice. And plus, if we want to get real down to the nitty gritty, a lot of rice does contain some levels and trace levels of arsenic in it as well. So if you like to eat it, I like to, have sushi on the occasion or stuff like that, but I don't actually have rice in my diet, if at all. So.
All right. Sweet potatoes are Caitlin's choice for a carb. All right. What you got for me?
All right. So I know you said strength training earlier, but when it comes to cardio, are you doing HIIT, high intensity, or are you doing steady state cardio? And of course, tell me why.
Yeah. I'm going to go HIIT, which is high intensity interval training. And not because I think it's better, but it's kind of the same reason I had for strength training, is I feel like it gives you more bang for your buck. So you can still get the same quality of workout, whether you're saying that your workout quality is coming from the amount of calories you burn, how high your heart rate gets, anything like that, I'm going to go HIIT because we're looking at a 10 to 30 minute time frame with built-in rest. And it's actually probably going to help you burn calories for a longer period of time after your workout is over. Whereas steady state cardio just takes longer, takes more time out of your day to go for a very long walk, jog, bike ride, swim, whatever it is. But I kind of look at those two things as just two ways to get to the same end goal. It really comes down to personal preference. And with HIIT, you will have a lot more spikes in cortisol, spikes in your heart rate. So if you're a person that's looking for something to be a lot more regulated and try to regulate your hormones, kind of get a more consistent heart rate, then steady state might be better for you. But for me, I will always prefer a good sprint, rest, interval workout.
Yeah, I don't know how some people, they get on that Stairmaster and they be climbing that thing for like an hour. I'm like, more power to you. But I'm trying to work out real hard and then lay on the floor like I'm dying.
Okay, this next question is an interesting one. So if you're looking at an entire week of eating, is it better for someone to have 3 to 4 cheat meals across the week or just have one cheat day? Even if we don't love the term cheat day, but 4 cheat meals across the week or just one day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like how you said that at the end about the word cheat, just because I never look at it at the word cheat, because cheat makes me feel like I'm doing something wrong and I'm not technically doing something wrong, but I will have to say the one cheat day. I mean, we do in our program already as it is, we have a fast and feast day that we do where the one day you can feast, because typically you're eating either in a deficit or you're eating a certain way, maybe doing intermittent fasting throughout the week already as it is. And it's just a good way to just change it up on your body. So it kind of just like, your body's like, oh my God, what is this? And then it's going to jump up and then jump down. And it's going to be like, oh, okay, this feels really good. Because one day isn't going to ruin my progress, ruin your progress that you've had over the weeks. But what 3 or 4 meals do, like that, cheat meals do during the week, is then that becomes more of a habit. And you already supposed to have better habits of, with the way that you're eating. And so if it becomes like, oh, well, I'm just going to have these 3 or 4 meals. Well, then next week it's going to be 5 or 6. And then the following week, it's just going to be all your meals are like that, So I feel like the mentality around it isn't as good as just being like, today's my day. I'm going to enjoy my day. Maybe I'll fast tomorrow, or maybe I'm just going to honor my body's cravings today and then pick back up where I left off.
Mm-hmm.
So
love that.
I'm going one day.
One day. I agree. Right. It's better to just keep the routine going. And if one day is your routine to treat yourself and have something that's a little different, that's fine. But I think it would be hard for me to go like this throughout the week rather than staying steady for a longer period of time and then just dropping off a little bit.
Oh, I couldn't agree more with you. Couldn't agree more. All right. So this one I like just because you've been doing a little bit more of it lately, I've noticed. Stretching before or after a workout.
Yes. I'm really good at stretching. No, we all need to be better at stretching. We need to be stretching after a workout, because when we say stretching, our mind immediately goes to sitting on the ground, leaning over, touching our toes. So static stretching, definitely after a workout. And we need to be moving before the workout starts. So Oxford athletes know that when they come into the gym, the warm-up that's on the whiteboard is going to get them a little sweaty. It's going to get them out of breath sometimes, but it's going to be constant movement. And that's because that prepares our body to actually work out, and it keeps our muscles ready to be engaged. It gets those fast twitch muscles going, whereas static stretching can actually be a hindrance to our workouts, and it can also lead to injury. We're basically telling our muscles it's time to relax, it's time to elongate, it's not time to contract, which is what we need them to do when we're moving quickly. So if you want to sit down and do some stretching after class, I highly encourage it. But when you come in for the warm-up, we should be moving all the way to the start of the workout.
Yep. I agree. And I forget who it was that told me, but they're like, think of your muscles like a rubber band.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're warming it up and they're, pulling the rubber band apart, and it's like, all right, we're getting ready. But when you go to stretch static like that, and it pulls and it pulls and it pulls, and then you're ready to work out and move, it snaps back together. And then so you've got like injury, just like you said, things that you don't want to happen. So you want to relax after.
All right, this one is a little bit of controversy. Are we working out fasted or fueled?
Dang. Okay. I mean, of course I know everybody is different, but we're working out fueled. We are hitting it hard, especially with the style and the type of workouts that we tend to do here at Oxfit, especially. We're not just coming in and lifting. We're not just coming in and running or doing, super intense cardio. It's the mix of both. So I need to be fueled to be able to lift weights, transition between different style movements, and be able to last the whole workout. I mean, even when it comes to like the hydration aspect of it as well, is like, if you can't go 20 minutes without drinking water, you're already dehydrated. So coming in hydrated, eating, unless, I don't know, because that's hard. I feel so like torn even speaking about it right now, because I do have athletes that come to my 5 a.m. and they don't eat until afterwards. But no, I'm going fueled, 100% fueled. Better for your body, helps you last longer, helps you with that extra push, and you don't feel dizzy or, like you need to eat anything. So fueled, 100%. That's my final answer, fueled.
And really, it's only hard, I think, for our early morning athletes, because if you're working out, after 9 a.m. throughout the rest of the day, odds are you probably have had at least 2 meals before coming to the gym. But like you said, those 5 a.m., 5:30, 6:30 a.m. people, their bodies are probably used to it if they have been working out without eating. But I usually recommend people, if they're making that transition to a morning workout, just get something in. A banana, a handful of granola. If you have time to wake up and drink a whole protein shake, that's great. But just putting something in your system to get your metabolism going is going to be more beneficial. And then after the workout, you can have a more well-balanced carb, fat, protein, full breakfast.
Yep, and you want to eat that within the hour. Don't wait. We need to refuel those muscles, so you don't want to wait too long to eat afterwards.
Love that.
All right, speaking of eating, this one's a good one. General fat loss or targeted fat loss?
We're going to go general, but it's also a trick question. So targeted fat loss is not a real thing.
Let's go.
So there's nothing wrong with wanting to lose fat from certain parts of your body. A lot of us want to lose fat around our midsection, maybe your arms, and that's great. But you can't do sit-ups and think that you're losing fat in your stomach, or go do bicep curls and think that you're losing fat in your arms. We can help you build muscle in the areas that you want to look better, but overall, just being in a calorie deficit, tracking your nutrition, that's going to help you lose fat everywhere, which is going to give you the sense that you're losing your midsection fat or your arm fat or whatever it is. So if you're ever online and you see, do these 5 exercises to eviscerate stomach fat.
What a good word.
It's not how that works. You got to eat right. So you got to work out and you got to watch what you eat.
Absolutely. I was going to say, it's all that nutrition, baby.
All right. I think we have time for, let's go one more for you. And then we're almost at 30 minutes. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this thing up. So speaking of nutrition, should we be tracking our food, or should we just be eating intuitively, which is a pretty hot topic, is intuitive eating right now?
Dang. Okay.
I'll give you a pass if you want to say it depends, but I did want you to have to choose one.
I'm not going to say it depends, just because I know for a fact, after working with people and working with clients, it takes time to learn. It takes time tracking, to actually be able to eat intuitively,
I
right?
feel that.
So, after tracking for years now, I can eyeball something and know that I need to eat X amount of this, my protein, carbs, and fat. I know exactly what that looks like, but that hasn't come without experience and trial and error. I do have one of my clients, so funny you brought that up. I have one of my clients, she's going out of town next week. And I told her, she was like, do you want me to track? What do you want me to do? I was like, no. I was like, we've been doing this now for 6 months. Let's just eat intuitively. You know about what everything looks like. I know you can do it. And if push comes to shove, you just eat clean. So tracking isn't something that's a forever type of thing but to get to that point of being able to eat intuitively, you have to have experience in knowing what your plate looks like. So
Right.
I'm going to say tracking to start and eventually lead into intuitively eating for sure, without a doubt.
Yeah. I think that really is evidenced in when we do our one-on-one coaching with athletes. Any athlete that's done that program will tell you it's a lot of work. It's 8 weeks of really hard work because we're trying to rewire your habits, your brain, so that yes, you're tracking everything, you're logging all your food, you're working with your coach, but after those 8 weeks or a few months, the way you move around the grocery store, the way you cook dinner, the way you pack your lunch for work, all of that becomes second nature and you don't have to think about it anymore. So if you put in the hard work up front of tracking and being super meticulous about it, then you can kind of take your foot off the gas and you're just cruising.
Yep. I love that.
Yeah.
Wait, can I just ask you one more question?
Yeah.
All right. Group class or solo session?
Group class, obviously.
Let's go.
Got to come work out with your people at OxFit. But no, really, we all know group class has that sense of built-in accountability. It gets you around other people for an hour, which in this day and age can be pretty rare for a lot of people. And you have your coach to rely on. So you show up, you have a good time, ready to work out. Your coach and the other athletes are going to take care of everything else. So group class all the way.
I love that. Plus, I love working out with you.
All right. Well, speaking of group classes, I hope everyone has an awesome week in the gym here at OxFit. Once again, happy Monday, and I will see you in the gym or back here next week.
Oh, what the heck?
Shit.
Whoa, let's go. That was sick.
Okay, we'll end on that.